How's it going, friends? My name is Mike Connor. I'm a local real estate agent in the Simcoe County area. I currently live just outside of Orillia, and I'm here today to talk to first-time home buyers, people who are looking to get into the market, but you're a little nervous. You don't necessarily know the steps. Well, the truth is, it is a little bit daunting. I've been there myself. I'm now in my second home, but I still remember that first home like it was just 12 years ago. And I wish I had a video like this kind of explaining step by step what to do in what order in order for me to get into my first home. So this video is going to be for you. If you enjoy the content, stick around. I feel like I'm going to pack it full of tons of value. And again, my name is Mike Connor. My phone number is 705-309-7898. If you're looking to get in touch with a local realtor to even expand on this or ask more questions, give me a call, comment down below, and I would love to talk to you about it. Let's get into it. First step is getting my finances in order. So what I want to do is I want to check my credit. I want to make sure that my credit is worthy. I want to make sure that it's good enough to be able to get a loan for, who knows, a $399,000, a $499,000, $599,000, whatever it is that you're looking to purchase. Make sure that your credit is in order. And if it's not doing so well, let's implement some steps to build it up. And to do that, create automatic payments, making sure you're paying your credit card off on time, in full, if possible, to build that up. Your cell phone bills, things like that, your own bills, your rental bills, things like that are getting paid on time, in full. These are going to really help build your credit up over time. So right now, if it's not the greatest, this is a good indicator to you that this is the very first step that you want to do to start the process of buying a home. The second thing in terms of your finances is that you're going to want to figure out, what is a down payment? How do I get the down payment together? So if you're doing this solo, with a spouse, with family, you're going to want to combine money to build enough for a down payment. So typically down payments start as low as a 5% down. So, if you're looking at, a $500,000 house, then, think about 5%. It can go 10, 15, and 20%. Whenever you go lower, then you're going to have to incorporate some extra insurance in there. And we can talk more about that in detail in another video. But that is going to allow you to get into the market with even as low as 5% down. Now, on top of that, you have closing costs, lawyer costs, home inspection costs added on top. So if you're anticipating to pay 5% and that's how much money you have, you're going to want to build up a few more thousand on top of that to be able to cover the closing costs, which includes the lawyers, your home inspections, little things that pop up during the process. Okay. So again, step one, check that credit. How's it doing? Step two in that first step here is checking your finances to make sure that you can build up enough of a down payment. Take that dream house, the first house that you want to buy, and take 5%. That's what you need to have for a down payment, and then add a couple more thousand on top of that. And again, we can get into better detail on that in a future video for those closing costs. And this is the first step. Okay, so now that you've got your credit check in order, you're building those finances up for the down payment on the home that you're looking to buy, it's now time to start talking to a mortgage broker, a bank, and you want to find out what kind of money they're able to lend you to purchase this home. Okay, we could be talking about a condo, a house. We want to get in touch with a mortgage broker or a bank. Now, if you're a traditionalist and you want to use, those top 6 banks out there, I don't blame you, right? Because they're they're out there. It's comfortable. That's what they do. And I completely understand that. And in fact, I use a bank for myself, right? So I definitely don't blame you. But there's also these things called mortgage brokers. And so what they do is they independently find you the best interest rate for your credit level. And so what they do is they don't just look at, one bank like TD Bank as an example, which can offer whatever it is, 3.99% interest. They look at all of the banks. They look at other lenders as well. And they come back to you and say, hey, this particular lender is going to give you this particular rate for this duration. And that's going to potentially save you a ton of money over the next 5, 10, all the way up to 20, 25 years, which is really, really good. And now what a lot of people don't know is, how does a mortgage broker make money? The good news for you is that you don't pay them anything. They get paid by the lender for finding them business. And so instead of just going to one or two banks and looking at one or two interest rates, these guys are looking at hundreds potentially of interest rates that are going to benefit you in the long run and save you money. I'm going to link 2 mortgage brokers down below in this video, their contact info. I personally have dealt with them before. Phenomenal. And then I'm also going to link, what I do my mortgage through, which is TD Bank, down below for your viewing interests as well. Now, what do I need to bring with me whenever I have a meeting with the bank or the mortgage broker? They're going to want to see your government IDs, so a license, a passport. Health cards don't work, but government IDs. They're going to want to see your recent pay stubs. So generally, I like to bring more than I need, right? But they want to see your last couple, at least, pay stubs. This is something you're going to want to ask them. What should I bring for our meeting? So if you can bring that, T4s from the CRA and your notice of assessment, you just log into your CRA account and you can download that notice of assessment and your T4s that show your income from the previous year. Generally, they like 2 of those. If you can bring the last 2, that'd be great. Any bank statements, that would definitely help you as well. And then also talk about, how you're funding this, right? So you have your pay stubs, you have your T4 from the previous years, but do you have any RRSPs, any kind of first home buying accounts, anything like that are going to help fund this down payment or fund the purchase of this property? Bring that supporting documentation with you. And then what they'll do is they'll take that info, they'll get back to you usually within 48 business hours. And once you're approved, everything gets a lot easier, including the shopping experience now, right? So once you get approved, and it's called pre-approval here, sellers actually take you more seriously with your offer because you are pre-approved to buy the property that you end up going to look at. So remember, we're doing all of this before we actually start shopping, because it's not smart to really go shopping for something that's way outside of your budget. It can be fun, but I don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste your own time. So it's good to have these little small building blocks in place before you really start that shopping experience. So now we're on to step number 3. Let's learn some of the programs that are out there in the world in Simcoe County and Orillia that are available for you to potentially help you with your down payment, help you with your payments, things like that. So first-time home buyers in Ontario qualify for a number of really great tools, okay? So we have these things called Ontario Land Transfer Tax Refund. So as a first-time home buyer, you qualify for that. Federal home buyers tax credit, first-time home buyer, right? If you've been saving in your RRSP, you can use that as part of your down payment. But remember, on that one, you do have to pay it back in a period of time. We'll talk to our mortgage broker about that, or our bank about that particularly. We also have first-time homebuyer incentives out there, specifically in Simcoe County. I'll link the website for it in the description down below here. But yeah, Simcoe County does have some interesting down payment options out there for certain applicants. It's not for everybody, just so you know, but it's kind of a cool little thing that I found here for you. And we also have this thing. Remember before I mentioned that you can pay as low as 5% down for a property? Well, there's this insurance called CMHC, which allows you to pay lower percentage for down payment. But what it does is it allows you to pay that back over time. And so that gets you into the market a little bit quicker, as opposed to having, 10, 15, 20% of a down payment, which would take you longer to maybe generate that. And now you're in the market. Your house is hopefully appreciating in value over the next 5, 10 years. And then who knows, maybe you move on to the next home, which is slightly better than your first home. Because that's what happened at my house. We bought what we thought was our forever home on the first one, lived there for 8 years, built up equity, and ended up moving outside of town a little bit into maybe a little bit of a better neighborhood because we had that built up equity. But the benefit for us was with CMHC is that we were able to get in the market quicker for lower, and then building up that equity right away. So this is step 3. We got to learn the programs that are available to you. And that's something that I can do with you, as well as our mortgage brokers that I've linked below, and the banks there too are here to help you in that process. Step number 4, this is where I come in as a professional real estate agent, somebody that just looks at the market all day, every day. This is what I do. This is what I live for. You and I will sit down together. We're going to come up with a game plan. I want to know what your must-haves are. I want to know your top 3 ideal situations. I want to know where you want to live, what neighborhoods you're looking for, and what are your deal breakers. These are important subjects for you because this is a purchase that you're making, and I'm here to help guide you in that decision, be your personal tour guide, and assist you with that, right? So during this process, it's an emotional process because, you're going to have some downs, but you're also going to have a lot of ups. I still remember that first home buy. Somebody else already had the property secured, but their deal fell through. Oh my goodness, we were so excited. We were jumping up and down. So I want to experience that with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end up setting up a search in our tools, and I'm going to, bring out 3 to 5 properties for you to look at. And usually the first 5 is more of like a test, right? We're going to see which one of these 5 are your favorites, and maybe none of them are your favorites, but at least that kind of lets us all know what you're thinking and what's important to you inside of a home, right? So we're going to go shopping together. You already know what you're approved for, so we have a budget in mind here, so it makes the shopping a lot easier. Step number 5 is creating a checklist to go through the home together. It's a very simple checklist. Your eyes, your emotion might be saying yes, but as we go through the checklist, we talk about location, layout of the home, backyard, garage, kitchen, bathrooms, and you're going to rate it. No sevens allowed. It's going to be a fun checklist, but what we're doing with this checklist is we're really kind of engaging in your inner emotions to make sure this is the right purchase for you. You're going to find with the checklist, it makes things a lot simpler. Step number 6, we're going to be making an offer here, but with conditions. Now, these conditions, we're going to discuss what they should be. The most common conditions are financing. Of course, you've been pre-approved, so you already know what your answers should be from the mortgage broker or the banks. Another one is a home inspection. This is super common and definitely recommended because you just don't know what you're going to get into. And a number of deals have been stopped in the past because there were deal breakers within that home inspection, which saved the customer, you, the client, so much time and so much money. That's why we put it in there. These are probably your top 2. We also, for condominiums, take a look at things like status certificates, just to make sure there's no upcoming renovations or any kind of shenanigans in the condo itself. But these are 3 common conditions. There are hundreds of other conditions that we have the opportunity to include within your conditional offer, but this is the time to make that offer. So now we're on step number 7 already, right? So, this could be a number of weeks, a number of months of working together. It really depends on what your timeline is and how quick we want to do this. So step number 7 is going to be that home inspection. We want to have a certified professional person come over, and they're going to look at your electrical, your plumbing. They're going to look at your foundation to make sure there's no cracks. They're going to look at your roof up top, your chimney, like I mentioned, all of these insides of the house to make sure that there is no damage, to make sure there's no long-lasting effects on your purchase. You're really hiring a professional here to protect you from making a decision that could really hurt you in the future. So we want to make sure we hire the right person. And I have several recommendations on this one. There's a lot of great options in the Simcoe County area. At the same time, we are sending this information off to our lender who's approving our final mortgage. And what they do is they go ahead and they look at your pay your RRSP, your contributions to the down payment. Can you afford this house? And they're just finally approving the mortgage for you. So we're just about done here, which is really, really good. These are always exciting times because we get to go and tour the house, just us with the home inspector. And generally the home inspection could take, up to a half a day to get done. Sometimes a little bit quicker. I know for the house that I'm in right now, it took 3 hours to do, which was nice. So that's step number 7. Here's step number 8. Let's hire a real estate lawyer at this point. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to handle something called a title search. Okay, so every house has a title. We hope, right? I've heard of some horror stories where there's no title on the home, but a lawyer is going to search that title. And in the title, they want to make sure that there's no physical liens on the house. That means that the homeowner right now doesn't owe any money on the home other than their own mortgage, but things like that. They also handle your closing funds. They also handle something called a deposit, which we didn't mention earlier, but generally when you buy a home, you want to have some money together to put a deposit down on that home just to show that you're serious about buying the place. So what happens with that deposit is it goes straight into as part of your down payment, which makes life a lot easier. So, if you wanted to put a $5,000 or a $10,000 deposit down on the home, that really shows the homeowner that you're serious about purchasing their home. And the lawyer is going to go ahead and take care of that for us and make sure that all of that is there. They're an essential process to this purchase, and they're going to make sure that your purchase is legally sound so that you don't have any issues. Now we're on to step number 9. We're getting so close to moving into our first place. We're going to do our final walkthrough of the home. Here's where we go through, each room. We make sure everything is exactly how we wanted it. If we wrote in, the stove and the fridge and the dishwasher, we want to just see that those are working still and that they're still looking at the way you wanted them to look, right? So this is going to be preparing for that closing day. And we want to make sure the home is in the same condition that you expect it to be. Sometimes they can maybe leave a little bit early and leave it not looking so nice for you. So we'll deal with that when that comes up. But at this point, you're also going to be arranging home insurance for your new place. We want to make sure that's all set up. You're going to want to set up your install dates for your services, your water, your hydro, gas, your cable, or your internet, things like that, utilities. And that's when our lawyer is going to be able to make sure and confirm that this is officially our closing day, which is going to be very exciting. And I want to be here for that with you guys. I'm very excited to help you out through this entire process. So that's step 9, which is pretty amazing. Let's move on to step number 10, the most exciting day of it all, but it can be stressful, is move-in day. So are you going to choose to move yourself, or are you going to hire movers? Again, I can help you find movers. I used one company. They were incredible, but I'll give you a few suggestions. But move-in day is when we get the keys from the lawyer themselves, and we get to the house, we unlock the door, and boom, there's our first house. Congratulations to you. You just made an incredible purchase, an incredible step in your future, building what you're looking to do with your life. So congratulations, that's it. Welcome home. And remember, if you did use RRSPs to purchase this home, you have to start creating a plan to be able to pay that back over a period of time. We're going to speak to a mortgage broker about that, the bank that you secured your mortgage with, to help you more with that information. We also want to generate maybe a small fund to help with any kind of things that pop up that you need to repair, right? So in home ownership, there are always repairs that just pop out of nowhere. For example, the room I'm living in, or I'm doing this video in right now, I need a new light bulb up top here. And these are the small little things that you want to have money for. So congratulations, you've bought your first home. And I hope that this video gave you the step-by-step process to be able to do that. I'm excited for you in your new journey. And I hope that we get to work together. My name is Mike Connor. I'm from Royal LePage Quest here in Orillia. My phone number is 705-309-7898. Give me a call, message down below if you want to get in touch with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.